What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We're episode 97. My name's Jared. I got Denzel with me, and we're going to get into some cigars and a little bit of everything else. But first, we're going to discuss the number 97 that represents today's episode. Do we have a player or an athlete that wore jersey 97?
All right, so cool. Check this out. Shout out to 97 a year, because I don't want to slight. We gave 96 a shout out last episode. Yeah. I don't want to slight 97. If you love 96, you might be fond of 97 too, and I am. 97 was a good year. But however, we do have some players who wore the number 97. They balled out they're balling out in number 97. And this is going to kind of lead into to some Father's Day nods, I guess. We have John Bosa, Nick Bosa, and his brother Joey Bosa. The Bosa boys and the Bosa father wore the number 97. Played for, so we have a father, played 2 years with the Miami Dolphins, wore number 97. Opened the door for his kids, Joey, Nick, San Diego Chargers, I think, and we have Nick Bosa. Who does Nick Bosa play for? 49ers. You know, defensive end? Or defensive tackle, and a linebacker. And them boys, let me read off some accolades real quick. They both went to Ohio State. We got a NFL Defensive Player of the Year, a Defensive Rookie of the Year, All-Pro, four-time Pro Bowler. This is Nick Bosa with the 49ers. Then we got Joey Bosa, came in, Defensive Rookie of the Year, four-time Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad for legacy, man. Number 97.
Whole fam earns it.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
And it's great timing. It's great timing. Mm-hmm. You told me you had something good for Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope, man. I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
And we get into a little bit later, because I want to expand on that as we get into our episodes once we get our cigars lit, to kind of talk about how that door opened up for that legacy to be built. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch on it a little bit.
Okay. Well, for now, let's get into this week's cigars we'll be smoking. And this week we had a little bit of an idea where we wanted to go back to one of our early favorite cigars, one of the ones we loved in the beginning. That's going to be the Rocky Patel Edge. Now, this was probably my first favorite cigar of all time. Now, I have the Corojo. This is the exact one. Now, later in life, I would move on to other types of cigars that I would have probably preferred. And maybe there's even another type of edge that I would probably prefer. Mm-hmm. This is the one that kicked it off for me when we first started smoking cigars, that I couldn't. It had me in a chokehold. I just kept going back to buy it.
Couldn't put it down.
I haven't smoked it since that era. So we're going to revisit it today and see what I think of it. Now, I'll let you speak on your own cigar that you have.
All right. So I'm in a little bit of trouble right now with my co-host, because I did get an edge, but however, I didn't go back to my throwback edge. Don't come down too hard.
He got the one he would smoke today is what he got.
I got the one,
he would smoke back then.
Not the one
theme of the show.
Right. Which is the double-edged light. It used to be a lighter wrapper edge. So this is more so on the dark side than Maduro. A lot different from what I used to smoke back in the day. But it's still an edge. But I didn't see the double-edged light in the humidor. So I had 3 to choose from, and I like, this one looks, I'll go with this one. I thought I was grabbing the Corojo, but I grabbed the Maduro. So my edge of choice back in the day that had me in the chokehold was a double-edged light. That double-edged light. I would love
to hear what you had to say about that double-edged light today, but
yeah, she was light-skinned.
Yeah. And I don't think you would have been feeling her today like you were back then. But I'll never know. That's one of them questions we'll never know.
Never know. But yet still, we're doing the edge, man.
Oh, yeah. Edge episode. I'm going to go ahead and get this Corojo undressed. Well, we're gonna do specs. We might as well do specs, right?
Oh yeah,
Let's do the specs.
Let's do the specs.
For me, I got the Honduras Origin Honduras filler, Corojo wrapper, and I got the Toro in the as far as the shape of it, and that's what I got.
Okay. All right. So I mean, which is cool because we get to see our differences between our descriptions. So I have a Habano Maduro wrapper, Origins Honduras, filler Honduras, and yeah, that's all we got. Habano Maduro and Honduras through and through.
Every time I peel it and just look on the inside. Memories. I'm just go ahead and put a match to this. Young me would have put a straight cut to it, so I'm gonna straight cut it. And young me would have put a match, no cedar sticks to it, or a torch. I would have torched this bad boy too now.
I would have big mine, I ain't gonna lie.
You was bigging early on?
Yeah, I didn't have nothing else. I didn't have a torch.
You did have torches back in the day.
I did not come out the gate now when I was smoking Edge. I did not come out the gate with a torch.
Oh, okay.
I learned eventually to get. We was getting our game up, and we were getting our tools and all that stuff. We get hype about going to find our torch and learn how to put the butane in it. We got there eventually, but
I forgot that era.
It was definitely going big. Yeah, man, those were exciting times. Actually,
those big memories out of my mind, man. Out of sight, out of mind. I try to forget that, I guess, man. Woo! Tell me if you get the placencia effect, where right off that first one you gotta enjoy it. Tell me if you get that.
So not so much, not the placencia effect, which is I believe I had that last episode. Yo, you know what? I text you in the middle of the week. I think it was like a Thursday or something like that, and I said, "Wow!" I sent you emoji with the heart eyes. Pause. Yeah. But I was smoking that Camacho. Gave me that placencia vibe with the atmosphere. Like as soon as I lit it, as soon as I puffed it, it just opened up a whole world of goodness, cigar goodness. So I'm gonna have to bring that Camacho to the show, to the episodes, and smoke that one so I can give you guys a real live review on that Camacho. I think I'm in love. Camacho, you might be still in my heart. I ain't gonna lie.
Match number 3.
You want one match? Hold on, I shouldn't brag yet. See how my burn turns out first.
Now this is mostly fault to my matches though.
Mm-hmm. And mine's a nod to my matches. I don't know if you saw what I'm working with, but
oh yeah.
So yeah, one match. One match. Get your match game up. Get your match game up. At least you ain't got one of the flimsy ones, the ones that come like the little fold pack, the flimsy joint.
No, I got the large kitchen matches and stuff, man.
Yeah, at least you got that.
But for some reason, I wasn't getting a big flame on the end. It just would give me like a very small, barely over the top flame, and it just wasn't gonna last. It was burning out.
Yeah, man.
I need that thing to start working its way towards my fingers. I wasn't getting none of that.
Yeah, so I guess not a you issue. If the burn's not burning on the match, manufacturer issue.
Yeah.
So first thoughts of this edge, spicy edge.
Oh
man. Yeah. We got some spice on it. But that Maduro wrapper, we always talk about the Maduro wrapper with the spice. If you got that right amount of spice and that dark Maduro wrapper with some oiliness on it.
Yeah.
Nice EQ.
I'm gonna say this. I had the Habano recently.
Yeah.
And I messaged you and said I could smoke this every day. This could be an everyday cigar for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't get that feeling initially starting. I sent that to you as soon as I got started on that Habano. I said, oh my goodness, this could be an everyday cigar for me. Right now, to Jared today in 2024, no, this couldn't be an everyday cigar. And I'm going to say that right off the bat. Back in 2000.
Palace changed.
10?
Yeah. 10,
11, what was it?
11. I say 11.
Back in 11, I could have had this every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
2024, that's not what that's not my initial thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to say my initial thoughts for just that.
Yeah. But let me ask you this question, though. Because, this is where I wonder if it's a combination of both or one or the other. Is it the palate shifting, maturing, or what's good and what's not good? As far as have you developed a taste on your palate? Taste development, or just understanding what you should look for? What really to look for, just not accepting anything. Because at one point, you're like, okay, this is what a cigar is supposed to taste like. I have to accept this, the not so great parts of a cigar, just so I can enjoy it, and then ultimately get to the enjoyment part. Or it's just a shift of your palate.
I'm gonna say majority palate shift. It's early to say. There could be some not just accepting anything because of knowledge now. That could be a small part of it. Because there is something about this I'm not enjoying. Mm-hmm. But it's not the large part of it. But you ever notice something just tucked in the back? You like, whatever that is, I don't like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got some of that going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And now that you bring that up, I don't remember always being like that early on. It was either before, it was just like, you just like it or you don't. Now It's just kind of like, I can figure out what I don't like.
Right.
My palate has developed in that sense.
I think back in the day, I had less tolerance for what I didn't like. If I smoked something in that first 5 minutes and it didn't give me something good, I didn't sit back with long enough to be like, okay, let the cigar develop and let me really feel like whether I like it or not. They came later on. They came maybe 2-3 years down the line to where I was able to say, okay, let the cigar progress. Understood how cigars are. They're going to progress. They're going to change. They're going to give you something different along the line. Brick house experience. Absolutely. Everything it threw at me in the very beginning, I was like, yo, this is disgusting. No, I can't smoke this. I didn't even give it a chance to give me anything different. It's like, yo, just off the rip. It's like, we're gonna kill this. I'm 10 minutes in. We good. This ain't it. Never going back.
You were the equivalent of a guy who would walk out of a movie in the opening part of the movie. Like, man, forget this, man. I wasted my money. Like,
don't even let the scenes play out. Nah, it's straight. Don't worry about it. I don't even need my money back. Bad review. But I have learned, and Rocky has taught me that. Rocky has taught me to allow a cigar to progress. Because I had some Rockies early on that would give you that spice in the beginning, might give you some notes here that you didn't necessarily favor, but then eventually you sit back like, ooh, this cigar is nice. I learned that from Rocky. I learned that from smoking Rocky.
You know why? I think I can almost figure out already why I would have liked this cigar over everything else we were smoking. We were smoking all them light-skinned cigars back in the day. Which this was an upgrade from that, but it's got a light skin element to it, and I think it's the dryness of it that bothers me. I don't like a dry finish on a cigar, you know what I'm saying? And there's a dryness to this that comes with a lot of them light skinned ones anyway, but this right here has got that element to it, and I like a little bit of I don't know, not plume, but I just like a little bit of oiliness. Oiliness, that's the word I'm really looking for, oiliness.
Yeah. And you usually get that with darker wrappers. You usually get the oiliness. You usually get that plume development more so than you get on those lighter wrappers. You know,
Right.
you can say, I can see I got a little bit of development of plume on mine already.
Yeah. We're having a different
slight
experience.
But yeah, man. But let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. Like I said, Rocky, like really.
I don't like how comfortable you look with your cigar right now. I don't like the level of enjoyment you having with your cigar at this moment. Like, it's kind of obvious to me. I don't like it. Like, I don't enjoy.
Is this cigar envy?
Enjoyment?
Are we having a moment of cigar envy right now? Hey, which is a thing. Which is a thing. And it's always been a thing between us. Like, we've always had some cigar envy sometimes. Like, man, you smoking that? I'm smoking this. From day one. I mean, like, I had my Romeo, you had your Cohiba. Yeah. And I really didn't know what the difference was, but I knew, I could tell in your demeanor that you were smoking something nice.
Our demeanor was different. Like, I don't like that our demeanor is different right now. I can read it. I'm like, he's way too comfortable. The only things I have to say are gripes so far. He just ain't got nothing to say. He ain't got no opening opinion so far. I don't like that. Nice. Like,
spicy? No, but spicy's good. Hey, but let's let our cigars develop. And let's get into some everything else real quick. All right, so to revisit our number that we talked about from 97, right? Besides it being a great year, it also brings to light a great idea of life and of, to me, manhood. I'm not dismissing the ladies, mothers and sisters, wives, whatever, as far as their impact to the family. Just speaking to my boy, man to man, as fathers, as men, you know.
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, as we go into Father's Day weekend.
Yeah.
And just thinking about how dope that is, when I looked up that number, not even expecting it, right? Because I didn't know what number 97 had to offer just yet until I looked into it. And then realizing that legacy and seeing, okay, Nick Bosa. Okay, I know Nick Bosa. Oh, yeah, I know Joey. Yeah, two brothers in the league. Yeah. And they getting busy. They getting to it, you know? And then to look back, I didn't even know about their father, you know? We were really young when he was in the league, and I think he came in the league in 87, played from 87 to 89. First round pick, but career didn't last very long. So I don't know the whole background story of why his career didn't last more than two or three seasons. But either way,
it ain't that out of the ordinary. So
it's really not. It's really not. It's really not. Yeah, what do they say the average career span for a football player is? Like 5 years for the average.
Was it that much? I thought it was lower than that. Like 3 or 4.
3 years. Yeah, it might be 3 or 4. NBA a little bit longer, but yeah, it's not not very long. But the big part and the importance of is, even though he might have had a 2-year career, and I don't know his feelings or thoughts during that time when maybe if he got cut, hurt, whatever, and his career didn't last long. But the biggest thing is his career did last longer than he probably imagined it, because he was able to pass whatever work ethic that he had to get him to that level to play in the league, gave it to his sons. Now his sons are living in that his footsteps of him breaking through that door, even if it was just for a couple of seasons. Like, you know, we see some players and they have fathers who play 20 years, like LeBron, and he's opened the door for his kids, which we applaud that. We applaud that, right? Yeah. Because you're being a father, you're being in your kid's life, and you're opening up this huge world for them to walk in and walk in your footsteps. But it was just something significant for me to see that, wow, this guy, he played 2 years in the league, worked his way to this point. But even though his career didn't last a long span of a couple of decades, he still opened that door for his kids to come in and shine. That was real dope to me.
Most definitely. Yeah, man. That's when you said that, it was like, okay, that's definitely a beautiful thing. I mean, it's something as a father, I'm sure most fathers dream of, is that their kids are following their footsteps on some degree and take it even further than what they took it. whatever your industry is, and there's always a balance to that, of course. If your children they're not into it, they're just not into it, you know what I mean? But there's going to be a part of you that always wants to see that part of you that wants to see that little human part of you go out and take it to the next place, you know what I mean? And we actually seeing it a good bit in the NBA. There's a lot of guys.
A lot of kids.
Yeah. Next, second generation kids in the NBA these days, man. The guys we grew up on, got the next generation.
Glenn Robinson and Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway, Kenyon Martin. It's just, you seeing a lot of people, man. And it's like, okay, that's dope to see. And then, I don't know. Why Magic Johnson come to mind? Yes. I'm thinking about how, you want it and then it don't happen. So I thought of Magic. But dang. Didn't quite happen for you, Magic. You know what I'm saying? Didn't happen for Mike either. But, I hear Larry Legend got a good grandson.
Why you had to come in?
I can't stay on the.
Okay.
Long, man.
Just keep moving.
I should have never thought that, but
hey, he's probably his son, man. He loves his son. He's probably his son. Yeah, we love our kids whatever direction they decide to go in life. But I mean, yes. So you want to see your kids
do good things.
You want to see them do good things, and you want whichever way they go.
If you can open doors and they go through it and take it further, that's fantastic, man. That's what we all dream of as parents.
Yeah. So I mean, and the big thing was this, right? Man, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, sips coffee.
Ooh, man.
The show must go on. Okay. Can we do a take?
I'm crying, bro.
All right, man, we're going to get canceled for laughing this hard. But,
yeah.
All right, how's your cigar? How's your cigar?
My cigar good, bro. Hey, let's talk about Terrence Howard, man. Let's move on, bro. Hey, shout out to the fathers, man.
Shout out to manhood.
This episode is ruined. This episode is trash. Hey, bro.
You did it.
What? Hey, what are we talking about, man? Who the scientist dude, man?
Terrence Howard and Neil deGrasse. Yeah,
man. Neil deGrasse has come out and responded to Terrence Howard, man. Man, I gotta chop this up, man, without me having tears in my eyes, man.
Leave it. Leave it,
man. Check it out. So,
okay.
Yeah, man. Neil deGrasse has come out and responded to Terrence Howard being on Joe Rogan. Oh, man.
I can't look at you. I can't laugh more, man. You do it.
I can't draw them up, bro. They just there. Like I'm high as hell.
I swear, there's nothing in our cigars. I promise you there's nothing in our cigars.
I think it is, man. They done spiked this Rocky.
Rocky, what you doing? What we doing, Rocky?
So anyway, man, Neil deGrasse came back with his response, man. And that video going viral, man. Mm-hmm. It's within 24 hours, it's over 3 million views, man.
Yeah, that's Shannon Sharp, Cat Williams numbers.
Yeah. People really wanted... Look, I knew people was into that Terrence Howard thing, but to realize how much people are really into that Terrence Howard scenario, lets you know they would just, you said it during the episode we recorded. You were like, I wish a real scientist would come out and just speak on it.
Yeah.
And now Neil is like the one to step up to the plate, and he's like one of the guys with the most prominent name in the science community amongst casual people. Like, who was it? Neil deGrasse Tyson and the science guy. What's my man's name?
Bill Nye?
Bill Nye? Yeah. Them like the top scientists we know. And then maybe a Michio Kaku. I don't know if everybody know who that is. But so anyway, Terrence Howard called him out in the interview and said, hey, you know, I sent my work off to Neil deGrasse, and he trashed Tesla and he trashed all these other people. He won't feeling it. So Neil came back at him and he was like, man, I'm going to go. He printed off the paperwork, what I sent him. He was like, I'm going to go through all of this. So Neil was pretty much like, look, in our community, when somebody comes up with new theories, we send it off to the homies. The homies have a responsibility to us to let us know if we tripping or not. So he said, I went through each section of his paperwork and I tore it down, but not in a malicious way, in a way where, you know, how we treat one another, to let each other know where we're on track and where we're off track. And he said, I felt like I had a bond of sort with him and I owed it to him. So he's like, I didn't go as mean as I could because I felt like we were cool, you know, but I did do what we do. Yeah. And it seemed like Terrence didn't like that. You know, Terrence was affected by it. You know, he took it personally.
I feel like with Terrence, he's a movie star. He's an actor. He's somebody who's in popular culture. He's not somebody who's just behind the scenes working on science projects, even though he is behind the scenes working on science projects. But he's just not that. So he's used to a certain type of reception. I'm Terrence Howard. Actor, movie, light skin, green eyes, like you're supposed to love me. No matter what I do. Superstar treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like just feel like if you walk into a room, you should get that acknowledgement of who he is. But now you're into another realm. You know, you're another realm. You're not going into as movie star, this guy, that guy. You're in the science realm. And them guys don't care about your celebrity. They care more about that theory, more so than anything. They care more about those mathematics, those formulas, how things are being broken down in a productive, in a correct, productive way. And I feel like that's what happened with him. Like, hey, look, you just got a wake up call, and everybody sitting by the sideline, especially all of our modern nerds, right, you know, sitting back in the stands, waiting for it to go down. And I believe that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah. It's like, hey, you got to take that on the chin. It's like, this is their WWE. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Welcome to the league,
Terrence. Neil called, and I had never heard of this prior to him saying it, but it's interesting. He said it's for Terrence Howard, this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, what this is when someone studies something enough to feel like they have an understanding of it, but doesn't study it enough to know when they're wrong. You can study some information and then feel like you get it and you're right about what you think about it, but you don't study it enough to know what other people have already done research on. So he's basically like, like you said, these scientists have dedicated their whole life to studying these things. They've been locked in a room somewhere studying this information their entire life, 40 years, 50 years sometimes, you know. And this guy who's been balancing being an actor along with, and that being his primary focus, along with these secondary things on the back end, how can you come into my world and just be like, hey, man, all the work that all of our community has done is wrong and we don't know what we're talking about. And you figure that out doing it part-time. You've overlooked everything else they've done for hundreds of years prior to us. We're all studying this information, building on it, rebuilding, restructuring these ideas, and you just come in without it. It is a degree of arrogance to that. Like,
it is. And the part that got me watching the Joe Rogan episode with Terrence Howard was seeing the heartbrokenness of his theories kind of being broken down a little bit. But that's science. I come from a science background and education. With my degree in biology. And we always know, like, when you hypothesize something, you're going in with the idea of it being broken down. Like, you have to test your theories. You have to test your theories for error and understand that, hey, there might be errors and holes in my theory. It's
Right.
it's gotta be, because nothing's 100% proved 100% all the way down. Even the most understood piece of science that we know, there's always that 0.0001% of doubt in that theory could be correct.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that as I guess, science studiers.
Right. And what Neil was pretty much saying is a lot of your theories only fit in one little box. They don't apply across the board in other places. And if it only applies in one aspect, not multiple ones, and it can't be replicated by just anybody, you don't have a theory yet. And that was kind of his point. And Neil politely tore him a new one, in his video. He wasn't disrespectful, but he was pretty much like, you out of your league, kid. Like, and I was trying to be nice, but now you making this public and bringing me into it. This is what it is. This is the paperwork. And he read through all the sections and like, these were my responses and why. Like,
hey,
I felt kind of bad for Terrence afterwards, man. I'm gonna be honest, I felt bad for him.
I didn't. But check this out though. That was kind of gangster what Neil did, how he approached it, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are our scientists, I guess, geniuses,
mm-hmm.
are nerds in a sense.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, one thing I've noticed is today's nerd, the modern nerd, is not what it used to be.
Nah, bro.
that was a gangster move, man. Even for you to feel bad for Terrence, that let you know, like, nerds today are moving differently.
Yeah. It ain't the nerds that you used to give a wedgie to back in the day, and they had big bifocals on and guys. That Urkel and Screech nerd is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I don't know that they exist anymore. Like, the modern
nerds
do
exist. I think they do exist.
No, I don't know. The nerd that don't have any fashion sense, and he just suspenders. And I mean, of course, Steve is an exaggeration. Steve Urkel is an exaggeration, but just the idea of that, we all knew one of those, not as bad as Steve Urkel, but
yeah,
in that world,
in that world, they had that same model,
yeah.
Like taking pieces from all these different types of nerds, making that super nerd.
I don't see the dude nowadays that looks socially awkward, that just don't know how to get around, and he's weird and stuff. I don't see that. Like, to me, I think the modern nerd has evolved, and it even became hot for a little while. And I think we're all the modern nerd now. It's to some degree.
Yeah,
we're all the modern nerd.
What do you contribute it to? Do you contribute it to just the plethora of knowledge that is widely available, that we can all tap into our inner nerd and we can nerd out on our specific thing that we want to nerd out on? Like, I'm pretty sure that you have something that might catch your eye on YouTube, and you go into a rabbit hole of this one thing and you just nerd out, or a couple of things that you just nerd out. I know I do. Like, whether it's like moon landing theories and all these what's the word, conspiracies or whatever. I'll go into a rabbit hole with that, and I'll just nerd out on it for hours on hours, because the information, it for one, it comes to me through my algorithm, and it sucks me in, and all of a sudden I'm nerding out on it, and then I just end with the inner nerd in me, which I got a lot of nerd on. I got a lot of nerd on me, but it's fed. My inner nerd is fed. Sometimes willingly and sometimes unwillingly. Sometimes I might be just laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, nerd time. You know what I'm saying? That nerd gets fed. I'm just in it. You think that could be like what it is now? Like, everybody's inner nerd is kind of waking up to where now we can live in our nerddom comfortably.
I didn't consider that, but you know what? That's a good point, because a lot of what we consider a nerd to be is intellectual, people who never mature, and they kind of always in this stuff from your childhood, see kids that was in the anime beyond a certain age, and you look at them like the nerdy kids and stuff like that.
You're watching anime.
And yeah, like you still watching that.
Popular, but it's popular though.
It is. But I think the fact that all this stuff remains so accessible to you now is what allows people to keep that nerd alive. Those traits that would make you be branded as a nerd, those traits are able to stay alive, which allows our inner nerd to expand and grow. Because, okay, I'm still in the cartoons and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'll still double back and watch them from time to time. And that would be a nerdy thing for a grown man to be into. And there was a time where I stopped watching it because I'm not available during them hours. So I got grown up stuff to do.
Yeah.
Now they're around. I can go back and watch old Ninja Turtles now. And it's just like, I can still be that little kid again. Like, man, I was watching Darkwing Duck with the kids the other day, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I would have never had access to go be that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
At some point, like you said, that's a good point to where things that you would nerd out on and be like, I'm going to watch Darkwing Duck. And you got a 9 to 5 to work. You know what I'm saying? You got this to go do. So which one are you going to, if you decide to prioritize one or the other, I think that's what maybe people might think about. But when you don't got time for it and you got to put away childish things and go do, go adulting, you know, you grow away from that ability to nerd. Cause I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to figure out that 1 times 1 is 2. Cause I ain't got time to nerd on it. I got to go feed my kids. I got to go hit this gym. You know, we got to go on vacation. We got to do things. I gotta give to my wife. I got to give to this. My parents need that. Whatever it is. Got time to nerd out. But now we got time today.
Got time, man. And the intellectual thing, I don't know how much of that is the intellectual nerds versus the conspiracy theory. Those are 2 different worlds to me. If you just because you're in the conspiracy theories they can merge depending on how deep it gets, what rabbit hole you go down. Now, if we go into the conspiracy theory of space and all of this, then they merge. But if we go into if JFK got, killed by the CIA, that's not nerding out to me per se. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I guess anything that you too into, you can be a nerd of. Like, you can be a sports nerd if you know all the statistics. We're cigar nerds. You know what I mean? Like we sit here and obsess over tobacco leaves rolled up. I mean, we're nerds for this stuff. So it can be different levels of that. But when it comes to like the intellectual nerd, I don't know if that particular demographic has grown or not. Because you look at me and you, right? We were smart kids and now we're smart adults. So we would go out and nerd out on some intellectual stuff, like, but somebody who's never been into that, they might not be into it. Like, we're bad examples is what I'm getting at. Like, I've been in advanced classes my whole life. Then I went to college, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure you got the same backstory. Like, so it's just like, I've always been around kids that were nerdy, but I didn't attach myself to them because I was cool enough to go hang with the cool kids in the hallway. Like, so,
right. Like,
I found balance in that work between the worlds.
I never had classes with my friends.
Never. I hated it too, bro. Like, I hated it.
You got 2 different worlds. I go to class with these guys, but then when I got out of class, I'm hanging out with these guys. It's like, I never had classes with my friends other than PE. That's about it.
Yeah, an elective maybe. You know what I'm saying? That was it. But that's why I say maybe we're bad examples of that, just to be like, I get on and I start looking at all this information on stuff.
Actually, you know what? I think we're good examples of it. I think we're good examples of it. As far as like what we're talking about with the modern nerd, that your modern nerd can look differently. It can look like a you.
Yeah, we're that now. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it can look like somebody who was just, I would say normal. I'm not going to just pat myself on the back and say I'm all the way normal, but I would think I'm normal. And it's just that we're not what the character looks like. It's not necessarily the character of the nerd. And then also think about back in the day growing up. I don't know if you heard this growing up or whatever, and parents with their kids, and they whether them be with the nerd sometimes rather than the athlete, because hey, that you might want to pay attention to that nerd because he gonna have some money. He gonna be the one making a dollar, and that's being seen now. You got your Elon Musk, richest man in the world, your Jeff Bezos, and your Steve Jobs. Before he passed, it's like these people were able to nerd out on certain things. Your Bill Gates, of course, and your Mark Zuckerbergs. They end up becoming billionaires. People are saying like, nah, hey yo, saying being a nerd ain't so bad. Your risk score go up because you got that that bank account. Right. So it's like, hey. And I guess in our age, we're looking at people like looking at the nerd like, hey, look, because the nerd is the one that's winning now. They got the money. They got the bank. They got the Tesla trucks and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, man. I mean, you think about in college, man. Who was the dude that we all laughed at? A kid named, what's his name? We didn't even know his name.
LAD.
LAD, an acronym for lame ass dude. And we all knew who he was, and we never saw him together. But he was so lame that we knew who we were referring to. And we would come back to the dorm, and all of us would always have a new story about what lame ass dude did on campus.
His name. What's that? That's the name we gave somebody.
We called him lame ass dude. And none of us ever saw him together to verify we were talking about the same person.
But we all
were quite confident we were talking about the same person. On this big campus, not a little small tech school, a university. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this dude is a billionaire somewhere right now. I know he is.
Guarantee it.
I have no doubt.
So we're making paper.
And while we teasing him behind his back about how corny he is, he's winning right now. Started some tech company. Like he's probably over there
winning right now.
San Francisco somewhere.
Yeah. Dropping something big, living in something nice.
Yep.
Probably balling out of control.
With the woman of all of our dreams, and he got her. and he just doing his thing, man.
And he was lame to us in college, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. And I think we're seeing the residual of it now, especially with social media being so wide and seeing people's successes on display more so than ever. Because back in the day, you didn't really see about everybody's success as much. You had a few people who were on the nerd side, the intellectuals who were making a little bit of money, but they weren't making, you know what I'm saying, the biggest bucks. People still paid attention to the sports or the actors or whatever, the celebrities. But nah, the ones who are winning ain't necessarily the celebrities. That's why you have a celebrity jumping into the nerd game.
Yeah.
Because nerds is winning.
Hey, and get this. I think we have reached a point where people don't realize that they being nerds anymore. Because the lines are so blurred. Because social media and the internet, YouTube, for example, right? YouTube has allowed for us to all go get our fix, whatever it was. And we would have secretly went to go get that fix before. And then you mess around and find somebody that reminds you of yourself, a like-minded person, somebody like you. And then you can relate to them. And then you start subscribing to them. And before you know it, they build a whole platform of people who resemble them, but they're really talking about some nerdy stuff, but they wouldn't be considered nerdy people. For example, OG in the tech gang, Flossie Carter on YouTube.
Yeah.
He really talk a lot of nerd stuff, man.
Yeah, he's a tech
but
nerd.
He don't fit the demographic of what you would consider a nerd, but he's a tech nerd at the end of the day. But I'm sure his whole following is combined with nerds and regular people alike, because now they can go there and feel comfortable and not feel like they being a nerd, but you're being a nerd. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. You're still nerding out over tech. Looking at all the specs and how this makes this happen and that makes that happen. That's nerd stuff. But
high heavy duty nerd stuff too. Like if you really understand it.
Yeah. So that's another good point. The nerd landscape ain't what it used to be. So if you are a nerd in something, feel comfortable in your nerddom. Embrace it.
Yeah. and people, I don't think people tease people about that anyway. Mm-hmm. Or if they do, I haven't come across it. I don't see it, you know, just seem like
Not so much.
Everybody
I would
just
be.
into.
I would be interested to ask my kids how they view their people who are considered nerds in school now. I wonder if it looks like the same way it looked like for us in the 90s and early 2000s of how we viewed the nerd in school. Or are people like cool with it? You know what I'm saying? Like we had a few guys who were smart, like who had the straight A's. I was one of them. And they were still in the in crowd for the most part. But even still, you had that group of people who were just, they're just nerds. Nobody wants to hang out with them at all. So I was just wondering, like, if it's still a little bit of that in school, like, is that still a thing? You know what I mean?
You know what a nerd look like today?
What?
The opposite of what a nerd looked like in our day. So a nerd in our day had tight pants and high socks all the way up their leg. And now that's what cool people wear is tighter clothes, high socks. So I'm thinking if you got ankle socks on and your pants don't really fit,
you a nerd.
But a good fit, that's the nerd today. Like, and if you got some mid shoes instead of lows, you probably a nerd today.
Bro,
like,
which I still don't understand. Like my kids get on me because I wear ankle socks, black ankle socks, and I'm completely wrong in their eyes. Completely wrong in their eyes.
Yeah, mine too. While we at it, you're completely wrong in my eyes. While we at it, but go ahead, continue.
White tube socks, huh? That's the thing.
Yeah. Step your socks
That was so nerdy back in the day. If you had the white tube socks, and if you had the Kool-Aid stripe on it,
yeah,
you know what I mean. You was nerding back then.
I see the stripes out. They selling the stripes now too.
So I'm jumping on stripes.
I don't see a lot of people wearing them yet, but I have seen
the Kool-Aid stripes. Give me the Kool-Aid stripes.
Yeah, I see the stripes.
If I'm gonna jump back in, I'm gonna jump back in with the stripes. Let me get them.
Yeah, man.
Well, hold on. Wait, what was the reason for the stripes on the socks? What was that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna nerd out and find out why did our socks have stripes on them? What did they do?
An extra level of ugliness to the socks, I guess. I don't know, to identify one another.
I can see that coming back though. The different color socks with the stripes and you put it with your fit. The
yellow stripes and the red stripes and stuff on them.
Yeah.
It probably could, man. You know, everything's coming full circle. I mean, the baggy pants is coming back, so you know.
It is.
Well, they are back. A lot of that started with the women too, though. It seemed like I saw the women busting it out first, and then the men follow behind.
Hey, look, we can bring most stuff back. Just don't bring them long T-shirts back.
The oversized tees is in though. They not quite the long ones. Yeah, they oversized. So they remind you of those, but the cut a little different. So like the cut on them long tees was like slim. This one just looked bulky. Just big and bulky.
Okay. Yeah. Just don't give me the shirts down to the knees though. Bulky's fine. I'm cool with that. People might just because clothes are getting bigger. You know, pants are getting bigger. Wide legs. So I get it. The shirt's got to go with it. You can't have like a fitted tee with the big pants. So I get it. Ratio has to match. But let's not bring them down to the knees like we used to have with the baggy pants with the tees down to the knees. I'm not here for it.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It's interesting to see the stages that people go through, though, man. Mm-hmm. And we're all. Hey, while we on the fashion topic, where do you think this stuff come from? Like, I mean, because it seems like everybody just changes uniform. Like, I even notice, like, I'll see a color, like a specific color, like a type of red or a type of, like I'm in the green right now. Like green is good to me. And I'm just starting to see that it seems like other people are in the green also. And it's like, how do we all
come to this agreement at the same time?
The same type of green too. Cause there's so many different types. It's like we all just into this same type green or this same type red right now at the same time. It's weird. Like, who hits the switch and says, all right, this color green's in?
Yeah, like, this is the one. This is it. I don't know, but for some reason it seems like we all
fashion shows. But I don't think it's fashion shows anymore because that's old school now. Like,
you
don't have to go to the fashion shows. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because now it's just everything. I mean, I know they do, but it's just like people don't go to the mall to get their clothes. So the changes in fashion happen like this. It's so rapid. Like,
it's gotta be social media then. It's gotta be social media. You get enough people on social media, then you get those ad posts, and then somebody says, "Oh, that's a cool idea. I like the way that look. Let's all go with it." You know, or just the shift of manufacturers decide to start making this in bulk and start pushing this and start phasing other things. I don't know. But you're right though. It seems like everybody comes to the same conclusion at the same time. It says that's the color, that's the style, that's what we're going with. Everything else, nah, that's the one.
That's the one. This really does go back to that whole nerd conversation, but it's such a monolithic tone to us as humans these days. Like, and that's social media also, where the majority is like, hey, I'm on this now. Mm-hmm. And I find myself stuff that I used to, like, even with the long socks, I told you the story. I got on the long socks by accident. Like, I thought I was being different. I didn't even pay no attention. I had them in the tuck from wintertime, and I was like, man, I just ran out of socks.
Yeah.
I pulled them out just because I ran out of socks and was wearing it with the shorts. And, I'm like, my wife like, hey, you in. I'm like, I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah, you in style. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought I was just being old school, not knowing that old school caught up and it was in. So, like, I find myself sometimes trying to run away. We get into that mindset sometimes. Everybody start doing it. We don't want to do it no more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You can't even find that no more. It seems like we all just keep coming to the same point, and I have to keep running away in the other world.
I can't get away from what everybody else is doing.
I can't get away from it. I start some of my beliefs. I hear people repeating them. I'm like, ugh, I don't even want to believe that.
Always hated being alongside what other people were doing, thinking, and I always like to think that whether it was the music I listened to or the way I thought or the way I moved was exclusive to me. But the way that the world has opened up to us, we realize we're not as independent as we thought we were, whether it was thought or action. There's somebody somewhere, especially as big as this world is and how populated, is doing the exact same thing, think the exact same way, act the exact same way, move the exact same way that we do, even though we think we're original.
Right,
which is cool. I mean, like, how many ways can you slice the cake when it comes to humans? You know what I'm saying? There's going to
resemble one another.
Yeah,
there's so many outcomes you can get. Like,
man, this is one thing I wanted to talk to you about. I meant to mention this just offline, but when you get exposed to so many people, right? Which I think is cool, but it's weird, right? So me and being an instructor, we get waves of students, hundreds of thousands of students per month cycle, whatever you want to call it. And it always seems like there's at least 5 to 10, maybe even, I'm going to say 5 to 10, let's just stick with that number, 5 to 10 people who remind me exactly of the somebody from before. Like, that face looks almost the same as that. The way they act is almost the same. Like, because I'm seeing so many people now, right? So many people. We get like 400 students per cycle, 300 some students per cycle. And then we get a whole other class of 50 or this or that. And they're just coming through. You just running through all these different people. Like, you move the exact same way as this other guy. And like, you almost want to call them that other person. But then at the same time, even though I had experience with that person, they were in my class 3 months ago, this person doesn't know who that person is. But I'm drawing a correlation between this person and that person because I've experienced them being their instructor. But it's like, that person they're completely independent from a whole different part of the country from that person. But then you correlate all these people together because how alike they are and how much they remind you of this other person, whether how they look or how they talk or how they move. It's just, and it's like you're seeing almost duplicates of individuals, but they're completely separate because they don't know each other. They've never experienced each other before. They have no clue who sat in that seat 3 months ago. But you do. Yeah. And it's weird. It's like this deja vu thing that keeps happening over and over and over again that I'm seeing. It's weird.
It really, okay, this is something I don't think I ever shared with you. I don't think I have. But around about 2013, I started kind of thinking to myself, like, the idea of a simulation. Like, man, I think, man, this stuff really do feel like a simulation sometimes. And then the more I thought about it, the years later, I started kind of hearing that this was already a theory in science already that had been going on for years and stuff. But I came to the conclusion on my own. Like, and now the more I live, I just still kind of think, man, it's something to it. maybe it is just all just a big simulation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when I say simulation, that's not
different versions of us somewhere else.
I'm not saying different versions of us, but I'm just saying just the idea of how Earth works in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That doesn't eliminate a higher power, whatever you believe in, whether God or whoever you call it. You know what I'm saying? But it just said it's just the science behind how it works. It could just really be like the game Sims. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only so many faces you can have, so many personality traits you can have. And you just run across enough people, we all start to look alike, we all start to act alike, we all start to share the same thoughts and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of weird, man.
It's weird because, like, you see, like, how can you have these many people with these different varieties of looks and personality traits? Which you do get that because you got all the combinations, but then when you see how many people are the same, it's those two different opposite sides. It's like there's 8 billion people in the world, probably more now, and you have all these different characteristics and you know, configurations to make different people. And it's still wild to think you can have so many different combinations of people. You only nose, eyes, eyebrows, lips, ears, and you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And
but
still
you can slightly sit the ears up a little higher, a little lower.
Yeah. And you have a face that looks like a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm a generic creative player face. But
the fact is, even though you look like so many people look like you, it's still differences. You know what I'm saying? It's still the shifts. It's wild. It's funny to watch. It's funny to see. And I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings when I said that, but it's been a running joke since I met you. It's been a running joke since I met you 20-some years ago.
It's been a running joke for a long time. I done gone through different stages of people I look like, you know, and now they're kids, new generations of people that's young. It used to be people older than me only. Now it's people younger than me that's starting to come into the world. You look like this person. I'm like, man, I've been alive 15 years before that person hit this earth. But yeah, I guess I look like him now. Like, I was driving when he was born. Like, you know what I'm saying? But whatever, man. Let's get into the review of these cigars, though, man.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it. And before we go on, I hate that we botched the legacy conversation because I really want to go deep on that. So happy Father's Day to everybody. But I want to go first with my cigar because I'm interested in yours more so than mine. Mine's going to be.
You have much to say.
Mine's going to be pretty. Really.
I'm not going deep at all. Just so you know.
Well, I guess I ain't going deep either because mine's pretty generic. Because it's what I expected out of Rocky Patel Edge. I guess because I did go Maduro. So bad me. Spice in the very beginning, which we know that Rocky is known for, and that spice was a punch. But it was EQ'd nicely with the Maduro wrapper, the oiliness that kind of just gave it an even kill. It was mainly, I would say, 95% spice in the very beginning before any other notes came out. 95% spice, and then that, of course, that hint of tobacco oiliness on the wrapper, all that good stuff. But then as I smoked it, more that nutty, earthy flavor came out. Nice, strong tobaccos, spice dialed back. Then we got some cocoa flavor out of the deal too. We got about not even into the second, third, barely touching the second, third maybe, which is a nod to Rocky that I learned early in the game of how long a good constructed cigar should last you. And Rocky Patel definitely does that with the Edge as far as allowing the cigar to burn nice and slow and for you to be able to detect the changes as they come. Rocky Patel and the Edge has always done that very nicely. Is being able to see that shift and see that change happen and allow those flavors to sit on you. So that spice sat in for a good little while, then transition slowly with those earth, nuttiness, and then a little bit of that cocoa kind of coming in and kind of taking over a little bit. But that's where I'm at now. I'm pretty sure we have so much more left to unpack with this Edge as it burns. But nice cigar, nice stick. I can see why we graduated to the Maduro and went this route when it came to Edge as far as that go-to when we think about Edge. So give this a rating out of 5. 4.2.
4.2. Woo. All right. For me, this is the Rocky Patel, the Edge Corojo. This would have been my very first favorite cigar out of all the cigars I smoked, and revisiting it for the first time since that era over a decade ago. I'm going to say for this stick, definitely started out with the Rocky Patel spice, as you mentioned. Noticed that. And it was mainly just a lot of dry, woody notes and stuff like that. This is as far as I've gotten to it. Not a lot has changed. Just dry, some spice, woody, and some cocoa notes. That's all that I picked up on thus far into this cigar. I do see why I liked it, but I figured that out early on why I would have liked it. I would have liked it because it was an upgrade from the lighter wrappers that we traditionally smoked during that time frame. So I was slowly working my way towards the Maduro world, which now is where I landed and where I stay at moving forward. But it was cool to go back down memory lane, have a little nostalgia with it. But for me, as far as rating this cigar, I don't even really want to rate it. But because you rated yours at the end, I'll rate mine now. 1 to 5, I'll go with a 3.7 as far as my score for the Corojo. It will not be my favorite go-to Rocky Edge even in 2024. But I do understand why 2011 me would have enjoyed it. You know, that's what I got on it.
Hey, it opened up the game for you in the cigar world. So
it's part of my transition into what I like now.
What you would have rated it back in 2011? It had to have been like a 5 for you back then. We thought these bad boys were 5s, man.
It had to have been as close to a 5. I probably would have gave it a 5, truthfully, because I wouldn't have known to leave room for something better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd just be like, this is the pinnacle.
Yeah. That what was it for me? That Liga syndrome? I gave it like a 4.9 or something.
Yeah. I'd have had Liga syndrome on this.
Yeah. Liga hit me in 4.9. This is it. This is the one. This is it. But yeah, man.
Been the same.
All right.
Hey, man. This was the Bosos episode. All the boys, man. The family, the father, the sons. You know, episode 97, the year 97. We ain't playing No Way Out throughout this 97, though. You know, we go back to 97. We don't play that. We skip that record. Everything else, though. You know, good year. Yeah. Hey, appreciate y'all.
Biggie, Hypnotize. We can play that, though, right?
We can play Hypnotize, man. We can play Hypnotize. Yeah. We play Harlem Worlds, too, if you want to. You know what I'm saying? We just got to be careful which ones on all these records. You know what I'm saying?
Just No Way Out. We skipping that one.
Yeah. We boycott No Way Out. But other than that, man, episode 97. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. Happy Father's Day to the fathers, and a special happy Father's Day to you, Magic Johnson, man. Forgive us.